Okay, very informally but formally, I'm going to kick off NewGrow Spring 2024. I'm Lisa Tiffin. I'm the Manager of Community Development for the City of Brooks, and I oversee the economic development portfolio of the Brooks-Newell region. So I'm going to run through some quick housekeeping things. So officially, I'm the first speaker, so you guys don't ever have to worry about being first speakers. Tonight, we'll have 8 different businesses pitching. Everybody gets a 10-minute window, which includes your presentation, along with any time for question and answers. So make sure you leave that little gap. We're going to remind everyone to make sure your phones are turned off so there's not buzzing and ringing. There's snacks in the lobby if you just need to go get some fresh air or grab one of those little marshmallow squares. And the washrooms are also off the main lobby. NewGrow has a $40,000 total prize pool, and it's split typically between the spring and the fall. Unofficially, we like to earmark about $20,000 for the spring and $20,000 for the fall, but it's never exactly that. So each applicant can only receive up to $10,000, and we have seen over the years some people do receive the full 10, and others receive smaller portions of that. Something that we've started last year is we started a fan favorite award. So after everyone's done the pitches, we record them and post them on YouTube, and then we encourage people to vote who their fan favorite is, and the fan favorite will win an additional $500. There's QR codes over on the side if you want to get right to the voting, because you guys are here, so you don't have to wait for the video. We've also included on the itinerary and the schedule a little score out of 25. Our judges score each pitch out of 25 before they deliberate, just to give us like numbers to go off of. And what they're looking for on that matrix is 5 different categories. Is the project financially feasible and sustainable? Does it provide a new product or service to that business? So hence, will it be making your business grow? Does the owner possess the skills to be able to effectively implement this program? Are there other non-economic benefits for the community? And finally, is there an economic impact? We want to see that these projects are bringing more customers into your business or creating more efficiencies to make your business have larger margins. We want to see business growth, essentially. New project growing, NewGrow. So that's what our judges are looking for today. So if they're asking questions, that's probably what they're trying to drill down and find out. Okay, still 4 minutes. So I'm gonna, now that I mentioned the judges, I'm gonna give a quick run through of our very wonderful judges that we have up here on the panel. To my far right, we have Kelly Rasmussen. Kelly's a real estate agent in the region. He has a background in commercial lending and banking, strong knowledge of property investment, helping business development. Him and his wife, Gina, have 2 sons and enjoy their beautiful home and leisure time at Lake Newell Resort. Larry, next down the road, has been a long-time resident of Brooks and has been the owner and acting pharmacist at Shoppers Drug Mart for over 22 years. He's a rookie judge on our panel, but a veteran business owner and brings a wealth of experience to the competition. Robbie is a CPA with Bevan & Partners. She works in tax assurance succession planning and with owners and management of small businesses. Her focus has been agricultural clients, but she also works with oil and gas along with retail. She grew up right here in the Brooks-Newell region in Dutchess, but now lives and practices in Medicine Hat, splitting her time between the Brooks office and the Medicine Hat office. Amanda, Councillor Philpott on my left, is a county councillor who has been a big supporter of NewGrow since before she even got on council and has been a regular member of the audience. So along with her husband, Al, they are part of one of the oldest family businesses in the region, Philpott Honey, and they've been making our community sweeter since 1919. And then finally, to my far left is Fred Ratai. Fred is a longtime entrepreneur with an extensive track record in the restaurant industry. So he's been a resident of Brooks for more than 3 decades now. Owned and operated Garson Brooks for several years. He was a former city councillor, but nowadays he keeps himself busy by renovating and bringing new growth to some old buildings in our region. And I'm also going to spend a quick second introducing some of our team. Jordan is our camera guy there who's going to be making us all look fabulous for our YouTube debuts. Mitchell is our economic development officer for the Brooks-Newell region, and Liam is our economic development summer student. So they'll be running around, try to stay out of the way, okay, guys? Okay, with that, I think we are ready to call our first presenter to the microphone, to the hot seat. So I will welcome our first presenter is In Sequence Studio of Dance. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So we've got a clock there if you want to keep an eye on it,
Okay.
and then whenever you're ready.
So my name is Brittany Hendricks, and I am an In Sequence dance mom, and I'm here on behalf of Kalisha Housen. The only reason you could get her to not be here today is she's supporting her students who scored high enough at a Brooks competition, and they qualified for championships in Drumheller. So just a quick little note about Kalisha. She has owned the dance studio coming on 20 years this year. She has been teaching dance herself since she was 15. She has lived in Brooks and is a proud member of the Brooks community since she was 5 years old. So that's just a little bit about Kalisha. So this is just a little bit about us. She opened her studio in 2004 in a tiny little basement suite, and quickly grew out of that, and now owns her own space at 928 2nd Street. So yeah, that's a little about her, or about the studio. I feel like there's lots to read over there, but I can't take up all my time. Our studio is a part of many community events. There's a large list of things that our studio tries to give back and be a large part of the community. Kalisha started this studio with the hopes of giving a place for many of our youth, a place to go where they feel loved and accepted. And I would just like to say a quick little note about our studio, and then I'm going to get into why we are here. So I'm just reading a quote from Josh Argue. The dance studio does not stop within the four walls of the building, but spills out into the larger community of Brooks. In Sequence can always be seen participating in events such as our local parade and McHappy Day performances. But to be truthful, the magic that goes on inside is hard to describe. I've witnessed the children, young men, and women walk through those dance doors and instantly met with love, compassion, support, and encouragement. The dance studio has become not only a building, but a space where the youth in our community get to fully be themselves without fear of judgment. So, with just giving you a little glimpse of how amazing our dance studio is, why we are asking for money is the project we have is our building needs some TLC. I'm not sure if you know exactly where our building is located, but it looks a little rough, to say the least. And we were unfortunately hit by our local spray painter. And so we would love to make our studio look the way it feels for so many families that attend our dance studio. So on the front of our studio, we would love to paint our studio. We have an image that Frontier Signwork gave us for a new sign. Our sign currently does not work and has outdated information on the front of it. And then on the side of the studio, we have been in contact with her proper name is Painter Girl, and she's an artist that would be able to provide us with a beautiful mural that would just make our building look so much more professional. So if you can see, this is kind of a minor mock-up, just a small mock-up. You can see on the side of the building as to what it would depict. Female and male dancers. We also wanted the mural silhouette to make it so that all dancers could see themselves in the mural. So it was just so that everybody would know that they're welcome at our studio. The plan to start this would be as soon as possible, and we would love for it to be finished by the end of August, and before the dance studio starts, the dance season starts. The cost of the project is approximately $17,729.13. Between that and $19,229, we are still waiting on the painter girl to get back to us, but she did quote in 2016 $5,500. We feel like the benefits to doing this to our studio will give a beautiful space for our dancers and our community to be proud of. We know that the City of Brooks, along with the communities in Bloom, do such an amazing job to take care of our community and make it look so beautiful. And we just want our building to represent the same. It would make our 20th year so special. We also feel like it would generate more interest in our building with people inquiring what our building is, and if they were looking for a new dance studio, it would be a building that would stand out. We hope that this also would inspire other businesses in our community to do the same and make beautification improvements to their building as well. Yeah, I think if anybody has any questions.
Okay, we're ready to be grilled on behalf of Kalisha.
I hope so.
Okay, judges, does anybody have any questions for Brittany? Amanda?
Nice to see you, Brittany.
You too, Amanda.
Quick question. How many kids in total? When I say kids, I know you refer to youth,
Yeah.
younger kids. How many in total?
So before COVID hit, there was 300 students, and now we are at 175 and growing.
Okay, anybody? Nobody else? Oh, they're going easy on you. Okay,
I
seeing none, thank you very much
thank
for
you.
filling in. Okay, up next we have Leslie from Telluride Farms. Okay.
Good evening. I'm
Whenever
Leslie
you're ready.
Burton. I am Leslie Burton, co-owner of Tillary Farms, along with my husband Scott and my daughters Beth and Emily. And first, we'd just like to thank the City of Brooks for having us in tonight, the NewGrow committee, and all of the peers who are here that are trying to improve their business for the Brooks-Newell region. Tillary Farms has been a part of a value-added raspberry and strawberry expansion since 2021. We started in 2021 with strawberries, and we had about 4,500 strawberries planted. And then in 2022, we added our raspberries, and that was 1,200 long canes of raspberries. And we have continued that operation the whole time. And then we actually in the last year or so, we had purchased a new acreage of 30 acres that we're going to expand and develop a whole new berry farm at. So this is the new expansion phase that we're working on. We currently have 3 new tunnels, and they're called high tunnels. And we have 3 new tunnels on site already, and we're looking to expand the green squares, which would continue to add another 15 tunnels for a total of 18. And this is the 3 tunnels, and this is what they look like. So this is our planting from this spring. The poly is not yet on the tunnels. It's a new build, and we just have to wait for the weather to cooperate for us to be able to get the poly up. So this is what they will actually look like once they're done, just to give you an idea. So these tunnels have roll top venting on them, which allows us to be able to control when we have high winds and whatnot, we can roll them right up, and that will help us fight that process. So with our expansion, aside from the high tunnels that we have bringing in, we're also going to add a large shop. And what the processing shop is going to give us It's going to eliminate a lot of the issues that we have with our berry business currently. So it's going to give us a food safe, hygienic location in order to do our sorting, packaging, cooling, freezing, shipping, everything, as well as the lunchroom, office, and eventually our on-farm store. For simplicity's sake of our expansion budget and this plan that is currently going on, for the ask, we're going to just focus on the fertikit for our fertigation system. So with the fertigation of our raspberries and strawberries, it's very intricate. So raspberries and strawberries like a 5.5 pH, and our ground pH is usually for us around 7.8 to 8, and with our water, it's about the same. So this system actually regulates the pH in our water and the EC that is going in, and it combines it with the fertilizers in order to fertilize the raspberries and the strawberries. So with the amount of berries that we have in our expansion project, this fertikit is going to allow us to be able to efficiently run our business in regards to our water application through our drip system, as well as our fertilizer applications, so that we're not over applying any fertilizers and we're not wasting our water either. So this gives you a good idea. This is what it looks like in the field. So it comes through that fertigation kit, and then it's all added and then goes in all through those drip lines. I'll just go back. So the drip line that's going into the bottom of the pots, that's how it's all added in. So we actually have the most efficient way to grow our berries for water conservation. And as we all know, that is pretty important in this region. So 2024 is seeing us in a variety trial with a very large world-renowned distribution company. And what that's given us for an opportunity is the ability to get plant stock such as this. So usually we have bare root plants with just a crown that we plant, and this is what we have now available for plant stock. So what this is going to do is help us eliminate the issue that we have with harvest with our strawberries, gives you a good idea. This was our first year of planting, so that's a difference between the plant stock that we have by able to work with the company. So the company that we're working with is who we're going to hopefully be growing for from now on. So in 2025, the target is to be growing commercially for this company. So that's going to allow us to actually harvest these berries. This is usually what it looks like in the fall, but we usually tend to lose a lot of our berries due to frost. So with the high tunnels and the new production that we have, the fertigation management, the water management, everything in combination is going to allow us to be able to get that harvest off. And it's also going to be able to allow us to grow for this company. What we bring to our local Newell region for our product, we're pretty proud of our berries. They're well known for being fresh, local, healthy. We do not use insecticides on our berries. We like to use things such as sugar water and molasses to control our insect pests so that we can just pop those berries right in our mouth and don't have to worry about that. Everything is picked for everyone, and then of course we bring it to local markets and working on commercial retail in Southern Alberta and Western Canada. So the skills and experience that we bring in, Scott has a financial background in ag management. I have plant and soil science as a professional agrologist. And besides that, we've built an excellent team over the last 4 years of growing. We have a consultant in the UK that we use for all of our fertigation and plant management. And then we also work with now the company that we're going to be growing for, who is just a plethora of knowledge. So with that, we have our team, and then that's where we can benefit the community. So we like to bring in, obviously, our berries to the local community. I can't say how much pleasure I get out of having the relationships with everyone that buys our berries, because it doesn't matter what time of year it is. We're always talking berries anytime I see anyone, so it's great. A lot of the pleasure I get, though, is working with the youth in the community, working with the schools. We do the FCC Outstanding in the Field program. We also work with Tilly School. We bring them in some extra plant stock, and the kids all get to take plants home and plant them. And then we work with the Brooks Bombers for the Ag Appreciation Night. So for our local economy, obviously, if anyone grew up picking berries at grandma's, it's quite high labor intensive. But the way we have ours set up, it's really ergonomically friendly for the pickers that are picking. As you can see, the strawberries in the background on the left are all at shoulder height, arm height, so you don't have to bend over to pick them. And so with that, with our expansion, we're going to be able to bring in more job opportunities for local as well, which is great. So everything all together ties in. But like I said, for simplicity's sake, I just put it, the ask in towards our fertigation system because it is something that is absolutely important for us to have to be able to manage our water, our fertilizer, and the quality of the plant product that we have. And to have that is what is going to determine whether or not we can do this expansion properly and work with the companies that we need to work with. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, thanks, Leslie. Questions?
Well, welcome, Leslie.
Thank you, Fred.
Good presentation. The fertigation equipment, will that manage all of your expansion that you're looking at with your long tunnels and whatnot?
Yes.
So you have them all? So.
Yeah, so the system that's going in is set for all expansion. So any future expansion it will cover. So yeah, it's able to supply everything and manage everything that we would do from here on in.
Okay.
So it wouldn't need to be upgraded.
And does this equipment also help to increase your production?
Very much so. So the thing is right now with the way it is, it's all hands-on. So what we do is we have a runoff monitoring system in our field, and then I have to take daily measurements for the EC and the amount of water that we have and the pH of the water. And then I go back and I have to adjust what it is that we're putting in for the acid that gets mixed in with the fertilizer, because that adjusts our pH and the EC for the plants. So EC is just electrical conductivity for those that don't know, and it's just a measurement of salts within the water and in the soil, and it affects how a plant can uptake water. So with that, that equipment is going to allow our plants to produce at the absolute best possible way. Like there's no other better way to manage our fertigation and our fertilizer application through that system. So.
Good. And would only partial funding or no funding at all from this project that we're doing here affect your project? You'd
No.
still be able to go ahead?
We would still be able to go ahead.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
If it's a quickie.
How many more summer help and how many kids would you hire more than you did before?
Well, currently, so far, I mean, if we could get the grant applications a little bit increased, but it's been a little tight the last couple of years. But we have hired, we've had 4 students hired over the summers the whole time. And then from now, it'll basically be 2 to 3 people per acre. So we'll go up to 7 to 10, depending on what we grow. So everything that we grow is going to be dependent on what the trial shows for the varieties for that company. So that's going to depend. Raspberries equals more work, and strawberries is 1 less person per acre, pretty much. So.
Okay, that
Thank you.
timer went.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Sorry.
Leslie. From the dirt to the skies, we have now up next Hangar 28. Come on up.
Good evening.
Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Kent Torkelson. And thank you for having us here. We're here to tell you about our project, Hangar 28. So does any of you remember Doc Keith? I found out he's not an actual doctor, but Kent remembers him. When he was a young boy, he was a crop duster, and he flew around the region dusting the crops. And Kent speaks highly of remembering seeing him flying around. So Kent has a passion for flying. Kent has a passion for planes. And I want to go to my next slide. There we go. So Kent is a pilot. He's a plane builder. These are, I looked back on my Facebook and found a few posts of the times when I was proud to brag about him and the things that he's done. He got his pilot's license in Lethbridge, and there's a trip we took to Ontario, to buy his first plane that he's starting to build. Kent's nephew, Connor, he was 12 years old in that first picture, and that plane was built by a fellow out in Millicent. It's a home-built plane, and Kent's brother Alan bought that plane, and it sat in storage for 10 years because, well, first of all, Connor wasn't old enough to fly it, and it needed some work, and nobody knew how to do the work to fix it. Connor now flies jets all over the world for Air Canada. And so that's the first day that Connor got to fly his plane. This picture, it's really hard to see, but in that hangar, there's a bunch of people that Kent brought together. So this was several years ago when Connor's plane finally came out of storage and we were starting to get it going. We have a friend in Lethbridge who's a pilot, who has a friend from Manitoba who's a pilot and an aircraft mechanic. And they flew into Brooks, to the Brooks airport, and helped Connor get his plane in the air. So at that time, we realized that, Kent said, this is pretty neat. We can help people get things done around here. We can, Kent's a fixer. That's just who he is and what he does. He makes things happen. So with his plane, this is our garage. Building a plane in a garage just doesn't work very well. As you can see in the middle picture, he's trying to set the wings on his plane, and part of it was inside and part of it was outside, and he rigs up these different things to try to hold it up. And it's, there's the third picture, you can see one of the fuselage hanging from the ceiling, and this is how we've been trying to build a plane for the last several years. So, now that I've told you about the problem, let's talk about the solution. Hangar 28, our mission statement is to create a space that will connect pilots with the resources needed to get in the air safely. Out at the Brooks Air Terminal, there is a hangar that Kent has had his eye on for years. It's been abandoned for about 30 years. It was owned by a local businessman. He passed away and the building got sold to Kent. As you can see, that roof is in pretty rough shape. There's several pigeons that were living in there, and every time it rains, the rain pours through the pigeon nests into the hangar. It's in rough shape, but the bones are good. It's a nice big hangar and in a great location at the Brooks Airport. There's Kent and our son working on trying to get it fixed. So yeah, we own this hangar now, and Kent has been cleaning. The part that they're standing on right now is actually, they had used it for offices, and it's got room for like lodging. There's bedrooms, there's a bathroom. It's plumbed for 2 bathrooms actually, I think. And so, but it's gutted. We had to pull out miles of rotted insulation and things. Anyway, so here's what we hope to offer. This is what the inside of the hangar looks like. There's a plane in there already that has been sold to somebody else, and they're our first customer. That plane is sitting there waiting for them to get their engine built, and then they will come. They're renting the space from us until they can get it put back together, and then they'll fly it away. So they're our first customer, and Kent is just busy working on a tin project to fix that roof. So here's an example of one of the things that we hope to be able to do. This is called a rust remover. Transport Canada has standards that pilots have to meet, and they have continuing competency education that they have to do. And this is an example of something from May 2024. Over 140 pilots flew into the Vernon airport and took their mandatory training, and they paid $40 each. We could get 100 people in one day to the Brooks airport. There's 100 people who are coming to the region and spending $40 or so to get their mandatory training done. So these rust removers happen, I think Calgary and Edmonton have them, but this right here, BC and Alberta pilots flying into Vernon. So how we hope to be able to get the pilots together with what they need is, this is just an example of some of the Facebook groups that Kent belongs to. He's an active participant in these groups that have over 70,000 members. If you look at just those ones that he's part of right now, they're a really close-knit group of people that talk a lot amongst each other and find ways of connecting. So that's one of the ways that we would advertise this business. And what we hope to do is this is the place where not every pilot has a hangar. A lot of pilots put their planes and they pay for a tie down at an airport. And they're paying sometimes a couple $100 a month just to tie their plane at an airport. They don't have a place to do an oil change. They don't have a place to do some servicing to clean off the rust. So what our hope is that they'll fly to our hangar in Brooks. They'll work on the plane. They'll rent it for a couple days. They'll rent it for a week. They'll come to Brooks and have supper and stay in our hotels, and so that's one of the things that we're hoping to do, as well as offering workshops. They can be done virtually. We can bring in people. Kent has had to travel to Red Deer and to Vernon for different types of courses to learn the things that he knows about building planes and maintaining planes. And how we hope, and aviation events. There's lots of airports that have fly-in breakfasts. We've attended a lot of those. That's another way that we can advertise and communicate with people in the aviation arena, and hope to sponsor some of those types of events in our community. There's been a few out at the airport that, somebody will do a fundraiser and offer some free flights or whatever, and they're usually really well attended. So we'd like to see more things like that happening, a community of a place for people who are in the aviation community to get together and collaborate and learn from each other. We believe that this type of business can bring money into our economy with people that might fly into the airport and then utilize other services in the community. We're definitely purchasing some goods and services to get this thing up and running. It's requiring a lot of effort to get it up to where we want it to be. We're also keeping dollars in the community. When you think of the money that we've spent going to other communities to learn the things that Kent has learned, there's opportunities that people could do that here. And I like the idea of providing just some community engagement, and there's a lot of pilots in Brooks that I don't even think are really connected with each other. I think that's all I have to say. I'm open for some questions in the next minute and 8 seconds.
Okay, Robbie, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Robbie.
So when you're talking about bringing in, doing the courses, will Kent teach them, or do you have to bring an instructor in for that, or how would that work?
Kent's a really smart guy, but he is not specifically trained for any type of those things at this point. So we would be either doing it virtually, where somebody could do a lot of those rust remover courses that Transport Canada does are virtual. We're just giving people a place to go. But if they're actual hands-on things, it's usually bringing an instructor in, and then we bring the instructor and the students together.
There used to be a flying club here. I'm not sure if there still is one. Have you been in contact with any of those people? And if so, how many of those people are you familiar with?
There is still a flying club in Brooks. I'm actually a member of it, have been for a few years. Right now, there's 6 members.
Just 6?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And, yeah, very informal club.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your project.
Thank you.
And up next, before we take our little break, we have Nathan with Twisted Roots Home Decor. So whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
All right, well, I don't have a fancy PowerPoint. I'm good at woodworking, not good at PowerPoints. But as you know, we have moved locations just recently, and part of it was part of the decision to move into a bigger space is that we've had many people come into the store asking if we teach classes, if we teach how to do epoxy, teach how, you know, the basics of woodworking, stuff like that. We've also been approached by the Newell Christian School about possibly doing courses for the young students on learning woodworking and whatnot. And that was asked when we were in the old location, and definitely not a possibility there, just not enough space. So with the new location, we definitely have a lot more space. We're probably double the space of what we used to have for work area. The downside to it is it's all concrete floor. So my back and knees and everything lately in the last 2 months or month and a half, I guess, have been a little sore. So part of what we're kind of looking to do is upgrade and get some anti-fatigue matting, which is going to help, you know, to, you know, a little less stress on the body as you're working. It's also anti-slip as well, so just to make a safer work area. The biggest thing I'm kind of going after is upgrading one of the most dangerous tools in the shop, which is your table saw. It takes, I don't even know what the number is, but probably hundreds or thousands of fingers off a year. And there's a new product it's been out for a little while now. It's called Saw Stop. It's a pretty amazing product. So we've got a little video on YouTube just explaining how it works and the benefits of it and how much safer it would be.
The Saw Stop safety system works, and it has saved thousands of fingers. Here, in a few simple steps, let me walk you through how it works. When the saw is on, it's constantly on the lookout for change. Each Saw Stop saw has a brake cartridge just underneath the blade. And through the arbor, the saw introduces a small electrical signal onto the blade. When the woodworker touches the blade, their body absorbs that electrical signal. A digital signal processor in the brake cartridge detects the change and triggers the release of a heavy-duty spring, forcing an aluminum brake into the spinning blade. The saw blade goes from 4,000 RPM to 0 almost instantly. The blade's momentum forces it to retract below the table, and the motor is automatically shut off. All of that happens in less than 5 milliseconds, 10 times faster than a car's airbag, 10 times faster than your reflexes can respond to danger, fast enough to turn a life-changing event into a minor cut, and all without damaging the saw. After activation, it's a new cartridge, a new blade, and 5 minutes, and you're back in business.
Yeah, so again, so safety in the workshop is huge. The most dangerous thing in the workshop is yourself, really. But if we do get into doing classes and stuff like that, or like I've been thinking even date nights, you know, something for the community. I've had so many people come in asking about doing epoxy nights, woodworking classes, all that type of stuff. So with upgrading this tool, we have an old table saw. It is pieced together, and it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. My dad's got probably more years than I've been alive, and he cut himself just 2 weeks ago on the table saw. So yeah, with that, that's going to be one of the big upgrades. Also, along with doing classes, we're going to need more tools for, you know, like sanding. Our orbital sanders and palm sanders are probably used mostly, and then also just the supplies for extra sandpaper, whatnot like that, to get the classes going and whatnot. So that's about all I got. Short and sweet.
Okay, that's great. Questions, my judges?
Can I see your fingers?
Got them all. I've been very lucky.
don't
I
need it
have
that
not
badly.
cut myself on the table saw. The router has gotten me a few times.
Okay, Amanda.
Nice to see you, Nathan.
Yes, you Steve.
Quick question on insurance when you're starting to do workshops and stuff. How are you going to cover that?
So this was kind of a last minute thing for me, so I haven't really had much time to chat with my insurance company about that. But I definitely need to talk to them. They'd called me the other day. I was in the middle with a customer, so I've got to call them back and find out a bit more information about the insurance-wise on that.
And at any given time, how many students will that new facility accommodate?
It depends on what we're doing. If we're depends what kind of our project, but it'll be anywhere from 5 to 10.
Yeah, Larry.
So where is your new location?
It is directly across the street, the old dollar store.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just thinking with transportation of students from the,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and that sort of stuff, they'd have to bus them in, of course.
Yes.
And what about teaching experience?
Teaching experience. So I've been doing this now for 4+ years of like actually the epoxy woodwork and the custom live edge work. My dad's been doing it for, like I say, probably 35 years. He's been doing as a general contractor. So it'd be myself and my dad doing the teaching.
Yeah, Brad.
One more question. So the main portion of your business is home decor retail, is that
Home decor retail, yeah.
okay?
Well, custom work. Yeah,
You
there's
do?
a lot of it.
Okay. Do you bring in other outside product, or is it all done in?
It's all right now. It's just our whole family. Yeah, it's just all family business. So
Okay, so it's operating, and what we're looking at now is establishing your shop, and then the next stage would be to look at classes and other revenue streams?
yeah.
Good.
Anyone else? I know Zach guy didn't put his hand in. He put a hot dog. Yeah, Kelly, go ahead.
As far as bringing the school in, is that a revenue stream, or is that a partnering with a community? Is there any money in it, I guess, is the question.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't really talked much more because at that point where I was at, I wasn't able to do anything. So I've got to get back in front of them and see what they're kind of thinking. The revenue stream, I'm assuming with the schools probably wouldn't really be much, but it's more so teaching the young kids so that when they get out of school, that they have some knowledge, some basic knowledge of woodworking. I'm not sure what they still have at the high school and stuff for shop class. Yeah, I'm not too sure there what they've got going, but I'd have to talk with them to see. I don't think the high school would be willing to pay much of anything to do it, but it's more so if a student is interested in doing it. It's kind of like I don't know, what do they call it? Oh geez, brain. Yeah.
Okay. Any
Work
other
experience, I guess, or yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break so there's, like I said, there's plenty of food, snacks, water, and drinks and stuff out in the lobby, so please help yourself. And then we'll be back for our next presentation at 6:10.